most people struggle to even send 10, 20, 50 cold emails per day without landing in the spam folder or having trouble with deliverability, blacklisted domains, and whole shebang. But imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and you can reliably send 10,000 cold emails per day that land in the inbox. This literally means you reach your market faster than your competition every single time. The reason why this moment in time is extremely special is because enterprise companies, large companies, I'm sure you've heard of the term an SDR, a sales development representative, they're sending 40, 50 cold emails per day on behalf of a huge company. And these guys have 30, 50, 100, 200 SDRs across their company. But what if you could do the output of 700 SDRs for a few $100s a month? In this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how to do it. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Kudus, I'm 26, I live in New York City, and I'm co-founder of Inframail. We've sent tens of millions of cold emails across all of our clients. Some of them I'm sure you've heard of, like Seamless.ai, Aftership.com, Ocean.io, Air.ai, and a ton more. By the end of the video, I'm gonna show you everything that's not theory. This is real stuff that I've used, real proof of how much we've made using cold email, the setup that we use, and everything A to Z. You're gonna know how to run and scale this system, how to stay compliant, how to consistently land in the inbox, and also not just spam people that are not relevant to your business. If you're serious about client acquisition and scaling your B2B company or B2B marketing agency, this is the video to watch. I promise you're gonna love it, and you're gonna share it with your friends. And by the end of it, you're gonna be able to send 10,000 cold emails per day. All right, guys, let's get right into it. This is how to send 10,000 cold emails per day without landing in spam. So everyone, I'm glad you're here, and welcome to what might be the most important video you'll ever watch. If you're serious about scaling your B2B agency or service business, this is absolutely the video to be watching. This will show you how to reach your TAM, your total addressable market, faster than your competition, book meetings on your calendar, and collect cash while having a predictable client acquisition system. No, please understand that cold email is not illegal and it's 100% GDPR compliant. Please be open to this concept and understand that cold email is the best and most predictable way to grow any B2B or service-based business or software as a service as well. It's not spam if done correctly, and this is like 1 gajillion% true. So why does this video even matter, right? Imagine reaching your TAM, your total addressable market, in the most efficient way possible, both cost-wise and mechanism-wise. Right now, with AI and the tools that we have, this might be one of the only opportunities to capitalize on the market novelty and get a huge head start from the competition on gaining attention, eyeballs on, our offer. So this would cost you millions to do with paid ads, and by far this is going to be the best cold email guide in the world on how to send 10,000 emails a day, and I'm going to tell you why exactly. So I'm Kudus, co-founder of Inframail. We have sent tens of millions of cold emails across all of our clients, literally tens of millions. 26, I live in New York City. I personally scaled my cold email infrastructure SaaS from 0 to about 80K per month using the exact strategies I'm about to share with you. So we've done just shy of a couple $1 million now, and we've gained over 6,300 customers for our software platform. So as you can see, we're in the Stripe dashboard, and I want to refresh and show you that I'm not lying about these numbers. So you can see 1.68 million in revenue, and you can see that we've had 6,300 plus customers, and we're growing month over month. Right now, we're about to hit our highest of almost 400 customers in a single month. So now that we have the proof, today I'm going to walk you through the complete guide of everything you possibly need to know on how to send 10,000 cold emails per day without landing in the spam folder, without spamming people, with having a highly targeted lead list. Okay, this is not theory, it's not guesswork. Obviously, you could see it has worked for us, but the exact system we used to send tens of millions of our emails of our clients to our platform with incredible deliverability is exactly the platform that we used, exactly the platform that we're going to talk about in this video, and it's the exact platform that got these results. 7,000 emails sent at a 3.3% reply rate. So you're getting tens of interested people at once, $2.4 million in pipeline value added here, right? And then here, 760 contacted, 7.4% reply rate. Again, reaching about 1,700 people, 8% reply rate, 66 opportunities, right? This is insane. 4,600 emails sent, 77 opportunities, and almost $2 million in pipeline value for a B2B e-commerce SaaS. And then another one, 1,800, 77% open rate, 8.4% reply rate, 30 opportunities in this situation. So the number one reason that B2B agencies, SaaS companies, and service providers can't scale is because they don't have a predictable flow of leads coming through the door, which is a huge problem. I talked to a guy today even, he has a creative agency, and he, has a few clients right now. And I said, well, God forbid if you, lose all your clients tomorrow, what happens? And he goes, well, I don't know. I would have to, I don't know, I wouldn't know what to do. So a lot of people are in that position, right? And if you've probably probably tried countless of things like cold outreach, that can't really scale, like, sending DMs, making content, which takes a lot of time, kind of like this one, writing paid ads, and you're stuck in this loop of getting some results, but then everything crashes. And sometimes you might get leads, but you don't know exactly where they're coming from. So this video is for you if you're a B2B agency owner looking for a consistent lead generation method that is 100% guaranteed to work. SDRs who need a predictable outreach method at scale. You're probably getting 5 to 20% open rates right now, and you think that's good, but you could be getting 60, 70, 80, 90% open rates, right? And have people actually see your email and respond. Recruiters also trying to connect with candidates efficiently. And I'm going to also add, one more here off the top of my head, which is software founders that are looking to get users for their platform, which is what we did. So if you've been frustrated by low open rates, poor deliverability, blacklisted domains, or struggling to get responses overall, this is the solution you've been looking for. And by the end of the video, you'll have the complete roadmap to implement a bulletproof cold email system. So let's dive right in. So we're only going to be talking about 6 main topics in this video, and it's going to be every essential part. So defining who you sell to, and you're paralyzed if you don't have this. You don't really have a business if you don't have someone that you clearly need to sell to, a specific ideal customer persona, which we're going to get into. Number 2, we're going to talk about how to set up cold email infrastructure, how to even send 10,000 cold emails a day properly while landing in the inbox. And number 3, how to warm up emails and send automatically, 10,000 at a time every single day. Just do it like clockwork using a software tool. Number 4, how to build an AI SDR that works without food or a salary. So you don't even have to respond to the emails. You have an AI agent that you build that responds. And I show you the exact template, and I give you my own prompt that I've used at our company. How to write copy so good people sell their kidneys for your services. So copy, of course, is different in every single environment. When you write copy for an ad versus an email versus your LinkedIn profile versus an email newsletter, all that stuff is different. So I'm going to show you exactly how to write one for cold emails. Number 6, the last one, is how to scrape unlimited leads based on your niche. Because if you're, sending 10,000 emails a day, you probably have a lot of questions. How do I find the list? Where do I find it? How do I export it? Is it going to be expensive? You have a million questions. I'll answer them. Okay. So defining who you sell to is a main part of cold email. You're paralyzed, like I said, if you don't have this. Defining your ICP, your ideal customer persona, is a crucial step to starting any business. So a lot of the time, I see people trying to sell their services to any business, which simply just won't work over time, right? Because there's 2 specific reasons. It causes incongruent marketing, and it also causes operational complexity when you scale. So if I sell SEO services to any business that exists, then my marketing won't speak to a specific business because I sell SEO to everybody. So when I scale, it will also get worse because it'll be so difficult to hire a team member because they need to fulfill differently for every single type of client that we sell. So, standard operating procedures and having an operations or a system becomes almost non-existent. So this will hurt you in the long run with your operations and hurt your marketing in the short run. So it'll take forever to sign your first clients or scale up if you don't define exactly who you sell to before you even start this whole process. So to nail down your ICP, you need to define your industry, your employee headcount, your geographic location. So if I pick selling SEO, I should pick selling SEO to other local businesses or B2B software companies or IT companies, because then my messaging when I send the cold email will be congruent to every single person that reads it, right? So whatever I choose my niche to be. So for example, if I sell SEO, just to give you a quick example here, if I'm going to be selling to a local business, I say, hey, look, I'll make your company rank number 1 on Google in the area when people search up for plumbing, for example. But for a software company, I can use a bit more, sophisticated language. I could say, look, your organic traffic is down to this many users or this many people. So we can get your traffic up 10x to this many users and convert this many, so you have X amounts of new users per month, right? That makes sense, and it's more sophisticated, right? That's something that a local business person wouldn't understand. So that's why this congruency in your messaging matters a lot. So therefore, my messaging will stay congruent, resonate with each potential prospect. So if someone sold me something and called me out in an ad and they say, oh, I'm looking for a 26-year-old black man that's super handsome, tall, as a business owner, I don't even care what he's selling. I'm just ready with my wallet out because the messaging resonates so well with me. So you could see I'm on a call with Alex Tramosi because that's what people, cool people do. Anyways, part 2, right? We're getting through these very quickly. So number 2 is understanding cold email infrastructure and what you're actually, the tools that you're building with when you're sending 10,000 cold emails per day. Okay. So Before we get into the tactical setup, you need to understand why most people fail with cold email. It comes down to using the wrong tools for the job. So platforms like MailChimp, SendGrid, MailClickConvert, ActiveCampaign, Mailgun, all these are designed for sending emails to people who have already opted in to hear from you. So to give you an example, right, if you buy something from Nike and Nike keeps sending you these offers, Nike's using something like SendGrid, something like MailChimp, because they already have a list of customers that they have engaged, right, that have opted in to their products, right? Either bought it or signed up for some discount code or whatever that is. That is what those platforms are for. They're built for newsletters, transactional emails, not cold emails. So these platforms have a strict anti-spam policy that will get your account shut down fast, super fast, if you try to use them for cold email. So I've seen countless businesses make this mistake and waste thousands of dollars. You're wasting your time, your money, your energy, and it quite frankly will never ever even work. If it does work for a little bit of time, it's bound to fail because when these platforms catch you, they're just going to shut everything down. So please don't waste your time like I did and many others that fell into this ether, never to appear again and just quit business forever, right? So the legal landscape is also important to understand. So before that, I want to quickly show you the high level overview of the tools that you need to use. So, you can see right here, MailChimp, SendGrid, MailClickConvert. These are just throw them out, right? You got to switch them for, sending platforms and email service providers made for cold email. So Instantly, Inframail, SmartLead, these are the tools that you need to be using. Right? So Inframail is actually an email service provider. This is where you get your inboxes from. And Instantly or SmartLead are where you're going to do the warm-up and also actually send out the emails automatically. So you need four parts, four types of tools. Number one, a proper email service provider, right? Which is, recommend you can get Google inboxes, Outlook inboxes, things like that. Number two is a sending platform. So you need to have a sending platform like Instantly or Smartly to do the warm-up and the automatic sending for you. Number three, you need a database platform like Apollo or ZoomInfo or wherever you want to get your data from. And number four, you need email verification tools to make sure that the email that you extract is valid, because if you just, rip a list without verifying that list and seeing if that email actually exists, right? Because if a person leaves the company, that email doesn't exist anymore. That data might be, months old. So if you don't verify it and you send an email, too many of those causes something called bounces, and you're going to end up, blacklisting your domains, wasting money, wasting your time. So the legal landscape, like I said, is also important to understand. So while cold email is completely legal under canned spam in the US, you need to follow specific rules. So stop when a business tells you to stop emailing them. That's the basic rule, and you won't get in trouble if you do this, okay? That's it. But meeting legal requirements isn't enough. You need to also meet technical requirements, to avoid the spam filters, and that's what the rest of the video is all about. So going into cold email infrastructure and the actual strategy to set this up. So it's going to look something like this. It's called a multi-domain email setup. So right here, you could see this is your main domain, right? Let's just say I have my main domain, inframail.io, but let's just say your company is, xagency.com. You're going to get other domains, secondary domains, xagencygo, xagencyhi, xagencyhere, xagencymedia, xagencybuzz.com, and create, these email aliases for this specific domain. So the amount of domains and emails that you have ultimately depends on how many emails you want to send. So we're going to use 10,000 in this example. So you can see right here, John at xagencygo, John at xagencyhi, John at xagencyhere. And don't worry about managing this whole infrastructure and all these different emails, because all the replies will, go to one place. So you pick from one of three providers: Google, Outlook, SMTP, private infrastructure, right? And which one you should use, I'll answer that very shortly. And I'll show you where to set up these inboxes a little bit later. This is just the architecture. So shortly, you should use all three of them, right? Just diversifying. But I recommend our, software that we built called Inframail.io. You could go get your inboxes from there. It's a private infrastructure, a private email server that you get, that you can send your emails from. And on top of that, we do offer Google and Outlook email inboxes if you want to go and diversify. So we do all of that for you. And I recommend getting it from us, especially because it's much more affordable. So I'll tell you about that a little bit later. So here's a strategy that we use for our clients, right? You start with a primary domain. You purchase 3 to 5 secondary domains that are similar but not identical. In this situation, to send 10,000 emails a day, you actually need 200 secondary domains. And I'll kind of get, into the math behind that. So all of your secondary domains will redirect back to your main domain, so don't worry about people landing on a 404 page or something like that, right? You cannot use subdomains for this. So don't try to be creative. Don't try to listen to ChatGPT, because it will make you do this very incorrectly and you'll waste your time. GPT is good, right? I use GPT all the time. It still won't beat deep experts in a specific domain like myself, so you got to listen to the email experts, okay? So let's say I have GatoradeRed.com. okay? I'm going to get Caduce at Gatorade Red, Caduce.m at Gatorade Red, Caduce.ma at Gatorade Red. So depending on how many emails you want to send, that's how many inboxes you'll need. So you can create 3 to 5 email addresses per domain. Don't try to bypass it and create 10 or 20 or 30 just to save money. You will just end up ruining your whole infrastructure, right? So here's an easy equation for you to use to figure out how many domains you need. Let's say you don't want to send 10,000 emails a day. Let's say you only want to send 5,000 a day, right? The number of emails you want to send per day, right? So let's say you want 10,000, you divide that by 20, and then that's the number of inboxes that you need. So the number of inboxes that you need, right? This number right here divided by 3 is the number of secondary domains that you need. Okay? So for example, 10,000 emails a day, 20 emails ascending from each little inbox, right? 1,000 inboxes divided by 3, 333 domains. Now I said 200 domains earlier because technically I recommend 5 inboxes per domain for a mix of affordability and also safety. So if you want to do 5 inboxes per domain, you could just divide this number by 5 instead of 3, and that'll give you about 200 domains, which is very, very simple. And the metrics that you want to hit are all right here for you. You could, screenshot this, save this real quick. 20,000 emails a month should get you about 1 close, because I'll break the math down for you, just for one of them. So let's say I send 1,000 emails per day, right? Times 20 days, that's 20,000 emails. I get a 1% reply rate. So let's say 200 people reply to me in that month. So I get a 20% positive reply rate, right? Meaning, basically a majority of those people are not interested, right? But 40 people are still interested. So you have 40 warm leads that you have that, think about it. 40 warm leads, you pay $10 lead on Facebook, that's $400. With this, it's a marginal cost, right? And you can generate and just, generate as many as you need. You could, I have a client of ours that books 2 to 4 calls a day, right? So, that's and many that generate 40, 50, 60 leads a day based on the amount of emails they're sending. So let's say 40 warm leads, 8 out of the 40 warm leads book a call. So you have 8 book calls, unless you have a 20% close rate. You close one person, right? That's 1 close, and boom, you're up in revenue. You have 7 no's. So we're giving you like worst case scenario here, right? Worst case scenario, this is the results you're going to get. 40,000 emails, 3 closes, 60,000 emails, 4 to 5 closes. And by the way, I want you, major disclaimer here. I can give you a Ferrari. I can't drive it for you. So, it depends on your offer. It depends on your messaging, right? This is not, I'm not some God-sent angel telling you that this is the amount of emails you need to send for a guaranteed this amount of closes. You still have to have a good business, right? I can't run your business. I can't do that for you, right? You still need to have a good business. So, going down, how to set up scalable cold email inboxes, right? So cold email infrastructure starts with where you get your cold email inboxes from. You can get them from Google, Outlook, SMTP, but the issue is that they charge per inbox. So let's say you buy Caduce at GatoradeRed.com. That's going to cost you $8.40 per inbox from Google. That's so much money, right? Because for example, we want 1,000 for 10,000 emails a day, 1,000 inboxes. That's going to be $8,400 per month. Right? So you have to set up all the DNS, by the way. So before we even get into the price, you still have to set up for each singular domain the SPF, the DKIM, the DMARC, the forwarders, the redirects, actually for each inbox. So you need to do this bot work like a bot, like just botting up, just doing the same thing like you're an AI agent or something 1,000 different times, which is extremely difficult. And it creates this friction because sometimes they ask for phone numbers, you have to use different credit cards. It's a mess. It's a complete mess, right? But this is the way that people did it a few years ago. So there's new tools out there where you don't have to do this, and you could do an amazing job and send 10,000 emails a day without all this headache. So each email address only sends 20 cold emails. Let's say 10,000 emails per day, 1,000 inboxes, $8,400 per month. So instead, I'll keep it simple for you. Use Inframail. This is our SaaS product, full transparency, but you could just compare us to the rest of the market. Inframail is the most cost efficient, right? I misspelled here, but most cost efficient and free to set up when Google, when getting Google, Outlook, and SMTP. So if you choose to get a Google inbox, number one, Google and Outlook, we charge only $3 a month, and you can get Inframail custom SMTP inboxes at $99 a month for unlimited inboxes. And these have great deliverability, right? I do cold email myself with them, and I'll show you really quickly actually how that looks. So going into the sending platform that I have right here, Plus Vibe, which we'll talk about later in the video, I have all of my inboxes in here. As you can see, 198 total domains, 990 inboxes. So you know that when I say, this is how you send 10,000 emails a day, I'm actually doing that. I actually have, 990 inboxes. Technically, I have more in other platforms, but you get the point. I have 1,000 inboxes, more than that, and I'm sending, over 10,000 emails a day. So let me show you some results, right? The scalable and efficient Inframail solution. This is some crazy stuff. I showed you you the results in the beginning, but I'm going to show you some from recent campaigns just live, right? So you can see right here, these are just some, campaigns that I started doing a little bit of testing. As you can see, a 1.4% reply rate, 71 people replied, and I have 10 positive replies, right? Which is a 14.1% positive reply rate, which is a little bit lower. This campaign was a lot better. You could see 91 leads replied, and I have 22 positive replies. This, again, are active campaigns, stuff I'm running currently. As you could see, this is not, me showing you a screenshot. This is active stuff that I'm doing. This is just basic tests, right? And you can see total, right? 162 people replied, and I have 32 positive responses on this, right? And I'm going to keep optimizing this to get, a super high reply rate of hundreds and hundreds of positive responses, okay? So either way, I recommend Inframail, for example. Instead of only getting inboxes from one provider, we diversify with other third-party cold email providers. And Inframail is a great solution for that because you can get all three. So I linked it in the description below. If you're a beginner, I recommend starting with just Inframail inboxes. You can create 1,000 inboxes at $249 a month on a private email infrastructure, and you get 16 hours a day of live human support, not AI. So I recommend that solution. Okay, so let's get right into the warm-up. So after you have all these domains and inboxes and you organize them and everything is good to go, which you really don't have to do any work with Inframail. But once you get these, you get a sheet, a CSV file that contains all of your email inboxes on one sheet that you just bulk upload into the sending platform of your choice. That is going to be the one that does the warm up. It's going to do the programmatic automatic sending. So let's get into that. Email warm-up and programmatic sending with Instantly.ai or Smartly.ai or PlusVibe.ai. Now, I recommend, my personal favorites. I'm just giving you a few choices here, but I recommend Instantly.ai or PlusVibe.ai. If you're looking for a very cost-effective solution that's very easy to use, I recommend PlusVibe.ai. You can link in the description below. I get a cut, full transparency. I get a cut, but I love the platform. I just, showed you me using it, right? So the email warm-up is the process of gradually establishing a positive sending reputation for your domain and email addresses before you start sending real campaigns. So the warm-up tool sends emails from your account to a network of other accounts. So it's a pool. It's all doing this work with AI and algorithms. You don't do any work. You're just, it's like turning on a light switch. Once the light switch is on, you just have the light. That's kind of how email warm-up works, right? You put the inboxes in, you just put on, and then it just does all of it for you on the back end without you touching anything, right? So these other accounts in the pool, they positively interact with your emails, opening them, replying to them, marking as important, and you do the same for others. And this signals to email providers like Google that your emails are wanted and they're engaging and people are reading them, right? So your sending limits and deliverability gradually increase over time. So the warm-up timeline, right? How long you need to warm up. So you can't send any email campaigns during this time. So the optimal timeline before sending campaigns is you need to warm up for about a minimum of 2 weeks before sending cold emails. And I always like to do a 50-50 warm-up, to cold email ratio. So, for example, that means if, I have an email inbox and it's sending 30 emails in total, only 15 of them should be cold emails and the rest should be warm-up. So 15 cold emails, 15 warm-up. This is to hide the fact that we're sending the cold emails, from other providers. So, for example, if I have an email inbox, right, and I have, one inbox sending 30 emails, 15 warm-up, 15 cold, those 15 warm-up emails are going to be opened by everyone in the warm-up pool. They're going to be replied to by everyone in the warm-up pool, right? Therefore, when Google analyzes the 30 emails, they'll be like, oh, this guy has pretty good engagement. This guy or girl has pretty good engagement with sending their email, their emails. So this other 15, even if it gets a 2% reply rate, right, it's still fine because they'll be like, oh, most of these emails got engagement. So if we just send cold emails without including the warm-up in there, then it causes some issues with the algorithm and then it ends up getting you blacklisted, landing in spam, marked as spam, and then it actually ruins, if your spam complaint rate is too high on Google, you basically just end up ruining and you get blocked from even sending to Google. They won't even let your email through at all, right? Forget it landing in spam, it just won't even go through, it gets blocked. So this is essentially how it looks in the, the tool I just showed you, but you have the email inboxes, you have the warm up, right? And, generally PlusVibe and Instantly.ai look the same. Instantly.ai is a great platform. It just is a little bit more expensive, and also they charge you and tack on fees for a bunch of different things. PlusVibe doesn't do that. You can get an AI reply agent on top of their platform for completely free, and there's no extra credits to use the replies, which is pretty cool. So you have different features like that. So aside from the warm-up settings, it's important to know how sending algorithms work and how to maximize deliverability. So number one, the programmatic sending. How do you automatically send 1,000 emails per day or 10,000 emails per day? I mean, in this situation, it's technically 10,000 emails per day. So how do you, send those 10,000 emails per day, and how do you maximize deliverability while sending 10,000 emails per day? So programmatic sending is very simple. You upload your lead list, You write your sequences and you schedule the time to send. And the most optimal time that I found is between 9 and 5 p.m. and the time zone depends on your lead list. So if you have an Asian time zone, you got to send at nighttime on the EST. So if leads are on the West Coast, use PST. If they're on the East Coast, use EST. Okay. Now, many people don't understand how sending algorithms work. If I send 10,000 emails per day, where do I get 200,000 leads per month? You don't need 200,000 leads per month. You need 120,000 because you're emailing the same people in your sequence. So let's view this on a smaller scale. Let's say you have 1,000, list of 1,000 leads. You have 50 inboxes sending 20 cold emails per day, and then you have 1,000 emails per day, right? So Monday you hit 1,000 leads on your initial email. Okay, Tuesday you hit the same 1,000 leads, right? The sequence is over at that point. I mean, if you send 3, 4, 5, 6, it's just counterintuitive, more chance of getting marked as spam. It's like asking someone, hey, do you want my book or do you want this water bottle? And they say no, right? Or they just ignore you. And then you ask again and again and again, just because you're waiting for them to say no. That's not good because someone will just, end up complaining. Maybe they'll go to, security. Hey, this guy keeps asking me to buy this water bottle or, to buy their stuff, right? So that's kind of how an email works. When someone ignores you, just don't hit them up more than twice. You really have no reason to do that, right? So Wednesday, you hit a new 1,000 leads on your initial email. Then Thursday, you hit them with another follow-up, same 1,000 leads. And then Friday, you hit a new 1,000 leads. So you only need 3K emails for that week, right? You're not just sending 10K, 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 a new 10K on Monday, a new 10K on Tuesday, a new 10K on Wednesday. Doesn't make sense, right? So the best email sequence known to man is the 1-2 cold email knockout, right? So Monday, you hit 1,000 leads. Tuesday, you hit the same 1,000 leads on your second follow-up email. And then Wednesday, you hit them with another initial email with a different subject line and angle. This is if you don't have, a completely, a super, super big TAM, a total addressable market. For example, if you only have 50,000 people in your market that you can sell to, then this is going to be a great way to make your email fresh. Because if you keep sending in that same sequence, they get bored, right? You know what I mean? You want to, it's like you're talking to a girl, but you got to, if she keeps rejecting you, then you want to, go change your outfit, maybe, change up your hair a little bit, and then you ask her again. I don't know if you're that type of guy, right? So you want to change yourself up. You want to change your angle, come out from a little, maybe the first time you tried and you were trying to be funny, and then the second time you try to be a little bit more flirty. I don't know, I'm just throwing shit out there right now, but video's gotten a bit too long. So yeah, I mean, you want to make the email look completely different to the prospect. So Thursday, you hit them with another follow-up email, right? And then you're good to go. So you hit that same 1,000 lead 4 times, but it looks like 2 different companies, okay? So this is great if you have a small TAM. And when it comes to maximizing deliverability, it really comes down to the warm-up, right? So there's a few settings, that you can also do in the sending platform. There's a few, key settings you need to tweak. So number 1, turn off open tracking. So what open tracking is it will tell you how many people opened your email. And I, completely think it's an unnecessary metric because who cares? Even if, it's a good metric to know if you're delivering, but the thing is you can just track it with how many people reply. So if you have less than a 1% reply rate, you probably have a deliverability issue. But if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10% reply rates, you don't have a delivery issue. People are obviously seeing your email, right? So you want to turn off open tracking because, it can ruin deliverability. To read open rates, there is a little pixel that they add into the email, which causes, mass sending of links, which Google detects, which they don't like at all, right? So you also want to enable provider matching. So if you have Google inboxes that you bought from Inframail, and then you have Inframail inboxes and you have whatever Outlook inboxes, you want to make sure that you're matching the provider. So if you have a Google inbox in there, you want to send to a Google. If you have an Outlook, you want to send to an Outlook, right? And this has ebbs and flows, right? So keep in mind that deliverability frequently changes. So stay tapped into LinkedIn, to channels like this, and follow people like me or other cold email centers in the space to get a gauge on how to deliver to certain providers. So for example, at the time this video is released, I don't know, when you're watching it, but Outlook is becoming very difficult to deliver to. So it's to the point where, I've avoided it altogether personally, and I only send to emails to any provider except Outlook. So I send to Google, I send to Yahoo, I send to Hotmail, whatever, provider there is except Outlook, because Outlook just hates us right now, right? And there was a point where Outlook even hated itself, where you couldn't even send, if you had an Outlook inbox, you couldn't even send to another Outlook without landing in spam. So, sometimes, again, these have ebbs and flows. These AI algorithms keep changing, and, they're getting data and changing and restructuring the way that, they accept emails or reject emails, whatever, right? So a lot of cold email sending platforms like Instantly, SmartLead, Plus5, they all organize which lead uses what provider. So for example, if you upload 10,000 leads in there, it'll show you, okay, well, 2,000 of these are Microsoft, 7,000 of these are Google, and then the other, 1,000 are just other, Yahoo, whatever, other email providers, right? So if you choose to sign up with any of them, please use my link in the description if you find value in this video. So I recommend, again, plus5.ai, link in the description. Super, super great platform. I love the founder as well. I also want to talk about how to build an AI SDR that works without food and a salary. Okay. Obviously, SDRs are outdated. SDRs, I think, are going to, they're going to die out soon in the next probably like 3 to 5 years. Okay. Because people are, building multi-million-dollar companies, multi-million-dollar ARR companies with like 3 to 5 people. We don't need SDRs anymore. Okay. So in 2021, early 2023, people were heavily focused on VAs for doing admin tasks or, replying to emails, etc. before AI released. So now AI is becoming more accessible than ever. And actually, this is a THAN. I hate when people do that. I do that myself now. So you need less and less technical skills to build some of the best AI tools for your business. So I'm going to quickly show you the AI reply agent that I've built that responds to my cold emails and books demos for my SaaS while I'm 100% hands off. Then I'm going to show you how to exactly how to build one yourself using basic prompt engineering skills. So here's exactly what you need to build your AI reply agent. And I recommend using plusvibe.ai to build your AI agent on. Like I said, it's free, just part of your subscription. No matter if the AI replies 10,000 times, it's still free. So it includes the, Plus5 includes the email warm-up, the programmatic sending, the AI reply agents. So let's go to Plus5 real quick. I'm going to show you my inbox right here. You're going to go to AI reply agent, and I'm going to click to edit. And then here I have all of this, right? And I've actually built a Google Doc for you guys. So let's just test this prompt. So for example, I want to test this prompt. I built one, and I'm going to show you how to build it. So let's say someone says, hey, yes, I'm interested in your services. Okay. So now I generate this, right? And then people are like, awesome. The AI agent is like, awesome. You can get started right away at Inframail. You can use the code free domains to get 2 free domains after you get your IP. So you can actually use that code free domains if you go to inframail.io and you want to set up your cold email infrastructure. Okay. And then it always pushes them to book a 15-minute demo with me so I can show them the platform and then, basically give them the full walkthrough, etc. So even if they say, if it says something like crazy, like I like Brad Pitt's, right, new movie, right? It's still going to, have context on my business and try to revert it back to the business. So, haha, Brad Pitt never misses. His new movie is solid. Speaking of hits, want to see how Inframail can help you land more cold emails in the inbox with infinite Microsoft-backed inboxes, right? So it handles any response. So now I'm going to show you really quickly, and I'm going to leave this guide in the description as well. No opt-in required. This is the AI reply agent prompt template. So number one, just a quick overview. If you want to check out the video that I made, you can click here, and it'll take you to the video that I made, or it could be a link in the description as well. So there's only 6 things that you need to include in the prompt, and title them in this way so you know what to do and how basically not only so you know what to do, but the AI knows what to do when it replies to stuff. So you want to make sure that it pulls information from an organized fashion, right? So number one is you want to include the role and perspective, right? Describe how the AI should act and sound. You're an SDR for X company, you're professional, casual, slightly funny, etc. Number 2, you want to give it context on your business. Explain your company, product, pricing, unique selling proposition, everything like that. And number 3, key details to reference in your replies. So you want to, include all of your FAQ, for example, your frequently asked questions, and how you recommend to use the platform. If they, have all the weird questions, you reference it here, okay? Number 4, the output format. So the output format is, how long you want the email to be, the reply to be. I always want my AI agent to reply in 2 sentences max, so it never talks too much and just sends 2 paragraphs and then the person doesn't read it and then I lose a lead, right? So number 5 is also the angle and psychological hook. So always what I push the AI to do is book a demo call. So every single time when someone asks me a question, no matter the question, no matter what they say, I like Brad Pitt's movie, then it's always going to say, okay, do you want to still book a 15-minute demo with the founder because you're going to get the 2 free domains and whatever. So I'm always pushing them to book a call. And number 6 is the constraints, what not to do. So I tell it to never curse, oversell, never send links, etc. So in this situation, I put my full prompt here for you so you know how granular I have it. And there's a dedicated video to this if you want a little bit more in-depth work. But that's it. That's all you need to build an AI agent. And like I said, it's no extra fee with plusvibe.ai. So check that out, link in the description. Okay, if you find any value in this video, I hope so. And now let's get into effective cold email copywriting principles. This is number 5, okay? We're pretty close to finishing. So let's talk about what actually makes cold emails work. It's the copy. By copy, I mean the words you write in the email. Copy is persuasive text. So, technically part of your copy also defines your offer. So you want to make sure your offer is really, really good. You want to make sure that your offer is the more unique part. And it's very difficult for me to kind of say. I mean, obviously if you're an established business, you probably have a decent offer that the market wants, right? And it's obviously very hard for me to say what kind of offer to sell if you're very new to business, right? And you just want to try something like this out. Totally understand. But you just want to make it as less risk as possible, show your testimonials, and make it a revenue generating offer, something where you're always talking about the outcome of what you are, what service you're providing. So for example, if I'm selling web design, I am not selling the design of the website. Nobody cares. When someone gets a web, design done for their website, what they want is it to, for it to be more beautiful so someone converts. So like, hey, I have this new website design agency, blah, blah, right? And we convert users at a 15x rate because our design is so simple and user-friendly or whatever that may be, right? So you always want to talk about the outcome. So the first rule of cold email copy is to make it look like a normal person wrote it. That means, no links in initial emails, no images or blogs, no fancy formatting, bold text, colors, no attachments. That's also what's going to ruin your deliverability if you don't follow these rules. So to improve deliverability, you should also use spin tags. So spin tags is to create, it means to create dozens of variations from a single template, making your outreach message have thousands of variations. So for example, if I say, hey, John, right? I will also put, hi, John, good morning, John, howdy, John, and that's 4 variations. So if I keep changing little words and spinning words around in the email, it could actually quickly create a lot of different variations. So for example, this variation works. So this is an amazing help, assist, support, abet, give support to, minister, whatever. So you write a sentence and you replace words in that sentence with synonyms, essentially, and you create more variations of your copy. So the email that's looking, that's sending out looks different to each provider, right? And they'll be like, oh, this person is not spamming. So that's, one way to improve deliverability. Also soft call to actions. You don't want to ask, someone for their time on a call when you're sending an email. I never ever do that. 5 years ago, 4 years ago, that worked because cold email wasn't that big or mainstream, right? But nowadays, your call to action should be soft, easy to respond to. Book a 30-minute demo at this link. It's not a good call to action. So a good one is, are you open to me sending you over a 1-minute case study on how we did this, or a 1-minute a 1-page audit on your company or your website or whatever that may be, right? So it's very important that that's how you approach cold email. You want to start a conversation rather than asking for somebody's time, right? So the key elements to successful cold emails are short, talks about how you can help them, not just what you do, right? Their outcome. Number 3 is social proof. And number 4 is a soft call to action that's easy to say yes to. So email providers are looking for marketing emails to send spam to, and promotional elements are dead giveaways. So your goal is to make your emails look like they were personally written. So here's a perfect framework that you can follow that works in any niche. So there's a value approach template here. So quick question, first name, right? Hi, first name. I came across your, whatever profile on this platform and is really taken by your specific achievement, aspect, whatever of their company that's unique. And then you say, I assist the solar niche in achieving X outcome, like let's say an extra 20 deals a month while avoiding ad spend. And, I do it within, 14 days, right? That's just, again, me off the top of my head. But you could see while they're like, oh, wow, like this person can give me 20 new deals. I don't have to spend money on ads, and they could do it in 2 weeks. That's a pretty damn good offer. And then you put, the third line. Here's how I helped someone in a similar position, a brief case study here. So I helped, Arizona Sun add, 31 deals in 27 days, right? Something like that. So CTA, would it be helpful if I sent over a free custom audit / case study? Simple, best, your name, and then you're good to go, or the sender name of that email. So mockup, hi John, I found you on LinkedIn and I saw your recent book release. Congrats. I'm emailing you because I specialize in helping authors maximize their sales without upfront fees, retainers, or paid ads. We get it done in 90 days. We assisted Kaylee Williams in reaching 214,000 in sales in 64 days. Would you like to see a case study on how we did it? So now this person is interested. If they're an author, they're interested in, this person helped Kaylee Williams, 214K, and they help, optimize everything in 90 days without ad spend without retainers? Okay, I wonder how this works. So you're, curiosity driven, right? So once you think you have a good grasp of your email, it's short to the point and it reads easily, use these 3 tools to make sure it's very optimized, okay? Number 1 is Spintax. This site is actually down, as of right now. I'm not sure. I think it'll probably come back up, in due time, but you can use any Spintax generator. You can also even use ChatGPT. So for example, you have a free Spintax generator for your emails here from Salesforce.ai. So you could put like, hey Frank, help me with closing 50 deals, right, per month. And then if I generate the Spintax, right, what that does, it's asking me for a free trial, but it will generate the Spintax for me. Oh, there we go. So now it'll say, hey, hello, hi, Frank, and it'll keep changing every single time. So I recommend you use something like this, okay? And the copy spam checker. So number 2, copy spam checker. Right, Mail Meteor. This is to make sure that you don't have any spam words. So they tell you what your spam words are. So if you use words like ASAP, please, right? Let's say, even words like get, they sound like urgent or whatever. So this causes problems with your cold email copy. So you want to put your cold email copy in here and make sure that the overall score is great, right? And you have 100%, no spammy words at all. Right, that's the most important thing. And number 3, the writing level checker, which is Hemingway Editor. I love this app. You can write your cold email copy in here, and it will give you a grade readability, score, I guess. So I always recommend, having a grade 3, 4, 5 reading level. 3rd, 4th grade is kind of like where it's at. So you can optimize your cold email copy by pasting it in here and getting a grade level. And you always want to make it sure. And of course, if you're selling, I put here, if you're selling rocket ship parts to NASA, the reading level might be higher, but 99.9% of the time for any of us, the reading level should not reach middle school, right? It should be like 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, right? So now you have the cold email infrastructure, the programmatic sender, the perfect copy. The last thing missing is leads. So the beautiful targeted data you need to collect cash and have your message resonate with your audience, because we don't obviously want to blast SaaS companies, solar companies, website companies, and all these in one list. That doesn't really make sense. So how to scrape unlimited leads based on your niche. So we're going to talk about 3 types of tools. So unverified lead sources, it costs less, but it requires verification later. So let's say if you use e-com, if you're reaching out to e-com stores, you want to use something like store leads, right? Or you want to reach out to B2B leads, any type of B2B like agencies or B2B software companies or IT companies. Apollo, you could use Find Email to scrape this stuff as well from Sales Navigator, leadrocks.io, some good options, right? There's I wouldn't say free options. They have some free trials, right? But very affordable, leadrocks especially. For local leads, Outscraper or Google Maps scraping, SaaS, VC, Crunchbase is really good. Social, igleads.io, tweetscraper.io, really good platforms. And then you also need a verification tool. So once you actually get the lists from those data providers, you want to put it into ZeroBounce or listmint.io or Neverbounce or Email List Verify. All these tools will help you verify the email. So when you put that list in, let's say you have 10,000 in there, 6,000 of them might be valid, 4,000 of them might be invalid. So therefore you remove all the risky and invalid emails and only send to the valid emails, okay? And then you also have verified lead databases where all the leads come together verified for you. They're a lot more expensive. And one of them is instantly.ai. They charge, I believe, 5,000 or 10,000 credits. You can get about I believe $197 a month, right? It's like for 10,000 verified leads or something along those lines. ListKit is about the same. 10,000 verified leads will get you about $297 a month. So very, very expensive. And they also have B2C leads. If you want to watch a video on how to actually scrape B2B leads without a subscription from Apollo, which is like one of the biggest databases in the world, you can click my link in the description as well on how to scrape unlimited leads without a subscription from Apollo, right? So I'll show you how to do that, but there's a bunch in here. Apollo, Clay's an enrichment tool, but you can also get leads from there. This is more for advanced cold email centers that want to enrich their data. For example, if I put a list into Clay and I want to scrape the data on the website and say maybe I'm looking specifically for agencies that only do email marketing for e-com, it'll scrape, an AI agent will go through 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 websites for me and find out which of these contacts are specifically agencies that do e-com email marketing. So really cool tool there. We're going to have separate videos coming out. So stay tuned on the channel. Like and subscribe if you like the video so far. We're going to have a lot of Clay videos coming in here. But yeah, ListKit, Crunchbase, Outscraper, all great tools. So I made a very detailed video on how to, we generated 256 qualified leads with cold email, specifically using Apollo, Crunchbase, Ocean.io, and Clay. So I have a separate video. You can also check that in the description where I go granular into each tool and show you exactly what we do, right? And this is for the PR niche. So we, totally killed this niche for a client of ours. And yeah, so here's there's a very easy and light tutorial using Instantly.ai for the data. So I'm going to quickly go to Instantly.ai and show you how to get verified data. As you can see, I have like a ton of credits in here. But if I go to email accounts, all my email accounts, but if I go to something called Super Search right here, the microscope or this little telescope, whatever that thing is called, you could look up and start your search with AI. So for example, this one's good. Engineers in New York in software companies with more than 500 employees, right? So engineers in New York in software companies with 500 people or more. AI search, and that's going to pull this list for me. And simple, just like that, I have this list and I can just filter them here. And then as you can see, it only has 17 results. But so actually, as he says, I'm on a trial plan right now. But essentially, you can find the emails, right? And then it will just charge you for each row based on the sentence. You can see I have 66,000 of these. So 1.5 for each row. And I can get all this data and get like 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 at once, right? So really good platform. Again, use my link in the description if you're interested in using that. So if you want to learn Clay Enrichment, you can click the video here as well. It's going to be in the description, on how we generated 256 qualified PR leads. And if you want to export unlimited leads without having an Apollo subscription, you can also check in the description below. It's just too much to go all into this one video. So too long, didn't read. What do I need to do? So go set up your email inboxes with Inframail.io, mix of Google, Outlook, Inframail's custom SFTP infrastructure as well. Go to a platform like Instantly.ai or Plus5, that's the one I recommend, to plug your inboxes in and to just warm them up. And then number 3, go get your data, depending on your niche, scrape a list. Number 4, verify your list of data with tools like Email List Verify or Listmint.io. Number 5, plug your data into Instantly or Plus5.ai. Okay. Number 6, write your cold email scripts. Number 7, build your AI agent to reply to the emails. And then number 7, start sending. Okay. Super simple. And if you look at this stuff and you're like, I don't want to do all this. This is so crazy. This video is almost an hour long. I barely scratched the surface. Okay. Totally get it. It takes a learning curve. It takes some time to learn. So if you don't want to do all this, right? If you don't want to set up your cold email infrastructure yourself, we offer consulting / setup packages, done for you setup packages. We have a fully done for you setup. We do not manage campaigns for you. This is just an initial setup where we plug all the tech, domains, emails, we scrape your first batch of leads. So you own the system, all that stuff we do for you. Think of it like someone building you a car, but you still have to drive it, right? We give you a Ferrari, but we show you, how we built the Ferrari and how to specifically use it. And you also get one-on-one coaching with me in a group chat where we all talk. If you have like a specific question, whatever, you're always in that group chat with me. So it's super cool. So the done for you email campaign setup, we just recently raised the prices on it by a couple thousand because of demand. So we have it's $14.97 one time usually, but now it's $34.97, and this could increase as we get more people interested and we have more clients that we want to take on. So yeah, we want to obviously give direct help to people, so the price is going to increase based on the demand that we get. So $34.97 is what it is right now. You pay this one time, okay, and then you pay $2.99 a month, and it includes all of the tools other than the leads. So you still have to get the leads yourself, and we show you how to do it for a very affordable rate without a subscription if you just watch that YouTube video, right? But what's included is you get 100% done for you setup plus consulting as part of this offer. So you get a done for you email account setup, you get a free email account warm-up tool, free automated sending platform. It comes with it, right? Number 1, and also you get one-on-one dedicated cold email coach, which is me, right? You get us in a group chat, in a WhatsApp, always talking. Anything that you want to tweak, anything you want to work on, we work on it, okay? Your first batch of clean leads, 2,500 contacts. We do that for your first campaign that you launch. And then we also have 7 days a week, 16 hours a day of real human support for the tech side. Super, super great team. Everyone loves our team. And then we also have a free AI deliverability consultant, train on offers, winning scripts, lead scraping, everything like that. You get that as well. And then you also get a free cold email video course, which is 1.5 hours long. And it includes includes everything from A to Z, just so you know about it, just so you know how to run the system, everything like that. And then you also get a free AI cold email script writer, so it writes all the scripts for you. You do have to make a little bit of tweaks sometimes, but generally you get everything here. So, if you're interested in this offer, I put the price up front, so, you could click the link in the description as well. Check out our website, see if it's interesting. You could book a call with me personally on the call, and we can kind of go through if this is the right choice for you. So, I hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, and this is the first real long form video I've done when it comes to something like this. So I hope this helped, and I hope this gave you an idea of how to send 10,000 cold emails per day. And I hope you enjoy. Like, share the video. If someone wants to send 10,000 cold emails per day, this is the only way and the best way to do it. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please don't listen to ChatGPT and go against what I'm doing here, because this is what everyone does. All right, see ya. Peace out.